dear friends. Indeed, it's a pleasure to be here today to discuss a very important issue of gender equality. As we all know, in 1948, Universal Declaration of Human Rights made gender equality a basic right. But gender inequality still continues. And in the words of General Secretary of United Nations, Antonio Guterres, it is an unfinished business of our times. The United Nations Sustainability Development Agenda 2030, under goal number 5, labels gender equality to be a socio-economic as well as an environment issue. Friends, during my assignment in a global agency, the International Civil Aviation Organization, I was surprised to find that there are certain prejudices that still exist. Not only was I a brown person from a developing country, I was also a woman. There are hidden walls which are still there when it comes to nomination of women to important leadership positions. Whenever there would be important small groups or technical bodies set up, women would not be made a part of it. Having served in Government of India, I'm proud to say I never faced any bias throughout my 30 years in civil service. I was the first to raise the question that why is this? When I raised the red flag, my question was glossed over, largely that this is not a part of the procedure, rules or procedures do not allow this. But however, they did identify that there is a malice in the system which needs to be corrected. And that's how, in ICAO, for the first time, a small group on aviation was made, and yours faithfully was made the first chair. It was a very challenging task, and I definitely tried to do my best, learning from other UN bodies, trying to understand what does a gender ambassador mean, what does a role model mean, what are the rules of gender. Finally, all this hard work led in 2021 to a declaration for women's empowerment from the Council, which was an indicative one. And in that, one important point, I won't go into the details, was that there must be gender-neutral language in all procedures. Today, we are all women professionals. ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, in 2016 has adopted a very important goal, which many of us don't know. And this goal is to achieve gender equality by 2030. They call this the ICAO Gender Equality Program. There are various different targeted programs and specific international partnerships that have been made for this end. This includes about as much as 50% discount for women who are going for trainings in International Civil Aviation Organization. They are collecting data for licensed personnel and evaluating a gender report every year in ICAO. There are 500 people working for International Civil Aviation Organization all over the world, and as of now, there are 33% of them are women. But please don't be misled by this figure, because in the leadership position, it is less than 3%. ICAO has also been celebrating various International Women's Day, but what is really important is they've been celebrating what is known as a Global Gender Summit. The first such gender summit was held in South Africa in 2018, and the second summit was held this year in 2023 in Spain. You will be happy to know that there were 3 people from India who represented women in aviation in that forum, and that was one lady from, if you can stand up please, from DGCA. There was another pilot from Air India. And of course, there was yours faithfully. So, what we managed to convey in the international fora that India, as you very well said, we not only have the maximum pilots in the world, but we are a country which is really aspiring to allow women to enter into our boardrooms, to be CEOs, and to be the forefront leaders, which was very well recognized by women from 90 countries who participated in this event. But what was the key result of this event? And again, I'm very happy to hear my esteemed colleague from the DGCA, Mr. Vikram Devji, the DG, say that they are working on a framework. So this Global Aviation Summit has called for a call for action by aviation stakeholders to come up with a specific gender statistics. It talks that these are very important to really understand the gender gap and to start making policies in this regard. They talk about a gender responsive budgeting. They talk about gender mainstreaming. They talk about the elimination and mitigation of stereotypes, biases. And again, to share with colleagues here, friends here, that when these 90 women gathered together in this summit, we realized that these biases exist whether it is in the global south or the global north. Human beings are just the same everywhere. So there are many glass ceilings to be broken, many biases to be overcome. And finally, there has to be a commitment from the senior management to maintain a diverse talent at the executive management level. I would like to use this particular platform to convey to you some hard statistics. First of all, as per United Nations, in 2019, only 39% of the women formed a part of the workforce. The World Economic Forum, in the Global Gender Gap Report of 2022, says that it will take 132 years to close the gender gap. And finally, China, a country we compete with, has 50% workforce as women. If we want to be on the same stage as China, we cannot be standing on one foot. We have to have both our feet. We have to have 50% women. And with that note, I'd like to end today. Thank you for your attention.